Imagine waking up one morning and seeing the sky turn black. The sun disappears behind a massive cloud of ash. The ground shakes beneath your feet. Birds fly away, animals run in panic, and a giant mountain that has been silent for generations suddenly comes alive. No phones, no warnings, no scientists predicting the eruption. Just you, your family, and a terrifying question. Where do we go now? Thousands of years ago, ancient humans faced some of the most powerful forces on Earth. But how did they survive when a volcano erupted nearby? Today, people living near volcanoes can receive alerts days or even weeks before an eruption. They have satellites, computers, and scientists who study the smallest changes inside a volcano. Ancient humans had none of these things. They could not look at a screen and know that a volcano was about to explode. They could not receive a warning message telling them to leave. Instead, they depended on their senses and their experience. They watched the world around them carefully. They noticed when the ground started shaking. They saw animals leaving the area. They observed strange changes in rivers, hot springs, and the mountain itself. For ancient people, a volcano was not just a natural disaster. It was something mysterious and powerful. Many cultures believed that mountains were alive or controlled by powerful spirits. They did not understand the science behind eruptions, but they understood one important thing. When the mountain changes, you must pay attention. When a volcano finally erupted, the first and most important action was survival. Ancient humans had to escape quickly. Families gathered whatever they could carry. They took food, tools, weapons, animal skins, and anything that could help them survive in a new place. They moved away from the volcano, often following rivers, valleys, or paths they already knew. But escaping was not always simple. A volcanic eruption could destroy forests, cover the land with ash, block rivers, and make the air dangerous to breathe. The biggest threat was not always flowing lava. Many eruptions created enormous clouds of hot ash and volcanic gases that could rush down the mountain at incredible speed, destroying everything in their path. Ancient people had to make difficult choices. Should they stay near their home and hope the danger passed, or should they leave everything behind and search for a safer place? Their survival depended on making the right decision at the right moment. However, ancient humans were not as helpless as we often imagine. They were incredibly connected to their environment. They knew the land around them better than almost anyone today. They remembered dangerous places. They passed knowledge from parents to children. They understood where animals lived, where water could be found, and which areas were safer. Some groups avoided living too close to active volcanoes, but others stayed nearby because volcanoes also brought something valuable: life. After an eruption, volcanic ash could create some of the richest soil on Earth. Over time, destroyed landscapes could become fertile places where plants grew better than before. This created a difficult relationship between humans and volcanoes. The same mountain that could destroy a village could later provide food for future generations. One of the most famous examples of a volcanic disaster happened in 79 AD when Mount Vesuvius erupted near the Roman cities of Pompeii and Herculaneum. The people who lived there were not prehistoric humans, but their story shows how humans reacted when facing a sudden volcanic catastrophe. When the eruption began, many people tried to escape. Some carried valuable possessions. Some searched for their families. Others stayed because they did not fully understand how dangerous the situation would become. The cities were eventually buried under layers of volcanic material, preserving homes, tools, and everyday objects for thousands of years. When archaeologists discovered these places, they learned something important. The people who lived there were not simply victims of a disaster. They were ordinary humans trying to protect their families and survive one of the most terrifying events imaginable. But surviving the eruption was only the beginning. After a volcano destroyed their homes, ancient people had to rebuild their lives. They searched for new places to settle. They created new shelters. They found new sources of food and repaired their tools. Sometimes entire communities moved to new lands because their old homes were no longer safe. But humans had one powerful advantage that helped them survive throughout history: the ability to adapt. People survived volcanoes, floods, earthquakes, and harsh environments because they learned from every challenge. They changed their behavior. They worked together. They passed their knowledge to future generations. Volcanoes remind us how powerful nature can be. A mountain can remain silent for hundreds or even thousands of years and then suddenly change the lives of everyone around it. But ancient humans showed incredible courage and intelligence. They watched the world around them. They learned from disasters. They protected their families. And when everything was destroyed, they started again. The next time you see a volcano in a documentary or on the news, remember this: for ancient humans, a volcanic eruption was not just a disaster, it was a test of survival. And humanity survived because we learned one simple rule: adapt, move, and never stop learning. Thousands of years ago, humans stood beneath the shadow of burning mountains. They had no modern technology, no warning systems, only their instincts, knowledge, and determination, and that was enough to survive one of Earth's most powerful forces. Because the greatest survival tool humans ever had was not a weapon or a machine. It was the ability to adapt.